the first billet 4EFE rocker cover in the world. So good. We are the camp dogs and we are going to modify this billet cover so we can use it. Hey boys, welcome back again. We've had a massive order from Velocity Race turn up. They're a company over in Malaysia that do all sorts of billet gear, and we bought a whole heap of intake manifolds off them and a billet rocker cover, fuel rails, some distributor cap covers. Basically just want to run through the parts that we've had turn up today. So if you have a look at Nick's old intake manifold here, this is the first one that we actually ever made, and we've had to weld it up a few times due to a few nitrous backfires, and at the moment it's still working fine. These are one of the old eBay ones you could buy from China. They were around $600. Haven't had anything fault on this, like all the welds and stuff are nice, nothing's cracked, throttle body works, but they just don't look the part. So the one that's turned up from Velocity Race, it is a sheet metal intake, but the runners here, this is billet. This little plate under here that supports the velocity stacks, inside there, that's all billet. This flange here is billet. These little accelerator cable brackets and the vacuum block. The vacuum block, they're all billet. So pretty much it's just the sheet metal intake part and the runners, and the rest is billet. So comparison of price, they're really not much more than the Chinese ones, and they look a whole lot better. They are going to come with a throttle body. We're just waiting for that to arrive. Next up, we've got the billet intake manifold.
So these are a two-piece billet intake manifold. They come with all Teflon gaskets. So Teflon gasket here, and for the throttle body. They'll also come with a throttle body, which we're still waiting on. But they're a really nice piece. There's bolts that hold the two pieces together all around here. On the back here, all the vacuum ports are all machined into them, so there's no ports on there. And on the inside, as you can see,
if I was to be really picky about this, I'd probably complain about the weight. It is quite a bit heavier. Quite a bit heavier than the sheet metal intake, but if you're going to have more material there, it's going to be far stronger. So this is the first piece of the billet intake. It's got 4EFT written in there. Pretty flash bit of gear.
The only weld for these is between the runners and the flange. So that's the only welded piece on the whole manifold.
I suppose you can't really billet well.
Well, it would be stupidly expensive, I imagine.
Yeah. And then we've got the second piece of the intake here.
This is one we ordered for ourselves because we were going to machine our own throttle body size in there for something.
We've got a whole heap of billet intake flanges, so if you want to make your own intake manifold, you can buy those straight off the store and do it yourself.
Billet distributor caps, so if you run coil and plug and you don't like the ugly distributor being open, you can buy these pieces, they bolt on. So we have these billet fuel rails. We have an option on the store for if you want barb fittings, or we can supply AN fittings. We also make these spacers so it all bolts on as standard.
Yep, so factory injectors bolt straight on as well. Well, they're a full length injector.
Coil on plug brackets. So these are designed to fit a K20 coil, but they do work with the Denso Yaris style coils that most people use. The billet bumper cutouts, different designs. We have ovals, round ones. We have really long ones back here that do a whole bumper.
Full length ones. We haven't installed those on anything yet, but we will get around to it.
They come with all the bolts and hardware needed to mount them.
Yep, all zinc plated. But this little unit here, this is the highlight that we've been waiting for. We have, as we know, the first billet 4EFE rocker cover in the world, and it's the first one that VR have made. Has baffles in there as well.
So sacrilegious putting old filthy seals in just to...
Nice.
Fits on there nice and tight.
Yep. Beautiful line across here.
Comes with like their own little billet oil cap.
Man, that's cool. We were going to get them to make a heap of them just so we could sell them on the store, but it's a different thread to the factory unit.
We might be able to still do that. But
yeah, so you have to buy the billet rocker cover if you want the Seeker oil cap at this stage. It's got AN10 breathers on the top and just supports those factory washers. Got one of those coilover plug adapters.
Yep. These do fit with the billet intake. So if you are looking at doing coil on plugs, bolts on as it normally would.
Yep, and supports all the core packs on there.
You can put your dizzy cap on there as well. Not gonna bolt it on, but just sit it there for a second.
Beautiful. And that is a piece of gear.
Or if you didn't want to use the sheet metal one and want to use the billet one, you can try to fit that one on there and see what that looks like.
Yeah, nice.
Just get it back on here so it sits on there. That actually looks really good on there, doesn't it?
So good. So we've been looking at this rocker cover to try and find something wrong with it, and we actually have found a little fault. VR are well aware of it, and they're already looking to rectify it and send us over another one, so it's not the end of the world. But if we try and fit a rocker cover gasket onto this, the channels around the outside are absolutely perfect, but just in here on the corners it gets a little bit shallow, so when you try and fit the gasket in, it bulges on these outer edges here and won't actually let you push it in. But otherwise it fits perfectly. So we could send it back, but we are the camp dogs and we are going to modify this billet cover so we can use it.
We actually haven't told VR that we're going to be doing this. I think they're just going to assume that we're sending it back to get another one replaced.
What a waste of freight, we can't do that. And if we fix that, and then we can put it on a car and drive around for a bit, then we're going to know if it's got problems or not.
Yeah. So far though, everything else works. The cam seals fit perfectly, the bolt holes line up.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Nothing wrong with it. Just the slight machining in here. Fancy one.
Look at that. And check out this side that's not done.
Still squishy in.
Camp dog side. CNC side. Alright, the rocker cover modifications are complete. A gasket fits lovely in there now, thanks to some Dremel work. This gasket's a bit old, so it's shrunk a little bit. Usually as well, I put a bit of glue on the corners here, because the standard rocker cover won't seal. I reckon we bang this on without no glue, and we can just keep an eye on it.
Yep, I think so. She's in.
We're ready to go on. Ah, oh, that's good, eh?
She's beautiful, mate.
Awesome. Alright, we need a boulder on one of our cars, test her out, see if there's any oil leaks. Which car should we pick?
The best one in the yard, I reckon.
Well, this is the car it's going on, the turbo dialysis machine. May as well just film this whole section and I'll chop it off.
Yeah.
So we fitted up the new billet rocker cover and you can hear straight off the key, she's now cammed. She's got a lumpy idle, ready for drag racing. Well, hey, that's what we want.